Well, it's the holiday season, and this time last year for our Winning Workshops format, we came to Florida where we worked with some stylists and saw different looks with long hair and long hair dressing. And that workshop format proved so popular that we're back again this year to take a look and see what's really happening when it comes to long hair, especially for dressing and more formal occasions. You know, styling is just as important as cutting, and you've got to be able to offer your customers lots of different ideas. What's most important is that you not just watch the video, but that you actually take the skills, practice them during your workshop, and start to think about and offer different types of looks to your customers with long hair for the holiday season. So let's go into the Galleria Salon here in Fort Lauderdale and meet the stylists that we'll be working with today. Well, Riviera, I can see that you've already started by putting in the first ponytail. So tell me a little bit about what's going on here and what you intend to do this morning.
Okay, what I'm going to do is I like to use little X's and O's and different styles to give a little creativity to it.
You mean in your sections?
Right.
Okay, great.
And what I'm going to do is place this up as well, do a little style in the back, make very large curls up in here. Everything is uniform, but yet everything's free fall curls.
Okay, so that free fall that you're talking about is really important that we take into account what's happening here with the sections. They're not, if you had seen a chignon of the 1960s and even the 70s, this would be a very, very sharp defined line. And it wouldn't have this shape in the section that you can see in here. It wouldn't come up and down. It would be very, very sculpted and definite through here. So that's a big change. Let's just take a look at some of the other things that have changed when you look at hairstyles and dressing for the 90s. You see this area here? It's much softer. It's got a little bit more expansion to it, and that allows the hair, although to have a formal finish, it still has a certain natural tone to it. And what Riviera is going to be doing is taking this section of hair here and then dressing that in a different manner. And we'll come back and see what's happening. But at the moment, we can clearly see it's broken into three very specific sections: the top, the back, and then this area through the front. Well, I'm looking forward to seeing what's happening. We'll be back in a little bit.
Thank you.
Thank you. Well, you've got a lot done here since we first saw the look that you were working on. When we started, you had this area with the ponytail. Let's take a look and see what you've done in the back here. Tell me a little bit about how you achieved that.
What I did was I twisted both sides up and also gave me the circles on the top. I'll be smoothing that area out. And with the ends that she had, because she did have long hair, I brought a couple of the curls out to give it a little uniform also in this area. Okay,
now, 1 second. When you say you twisted this area out, what's it actually doing in there? How did you make that, I see, the pleat. Okay, so you've taken the hair, combed it smoothly over, and then come up in that direction, and then work the longer length into the circle. So it's smooth, up, and around.
What I used was a teasing brush. That's
right.
best for it.
So you've got some back combing or back brushing under
Just
there?
very little.
Okay, and that's what gives it that little bit of lift. Then you've left the hairline out. You've taken the curling iron here, just to give it some texture. Where else have you used a curling iron? And what sizes are you using?
What I'm basically using up here is a very large, a 1.5.
So a real barrel curl, just to give you that bend.
And I also like to use this Super Freeze spray. It gives a nice hold, gives a nice texture, and also gives volume.
Yeah, it puts a glaze on it really, doesn't it?
Gives a nice shine and smooths them out very nicely.
Okay, great. One last piece. This little piece in here, you've taken from part of the loop.
Right.
It's come down and through where the seam is, and then you've taken the curling iron and separated that out. That gives it a little signature, doesn't it? Okay, what's next?
What I'm doing up here is I'm sectioning in very small sections, taking different texture, different types of hairsprays. I like to use a super spray, the holding, and what I do
Let's
is
see
I
you
spray
do
it
one of
first.
those.
All right.
So from within the ponytail, and incidentally, we could see it when we first started, but what you did there was take a small section of the hair afterwards, wrap that around the band, and then there's a grip that holds that last piece of the hair as it's wrapped around in place, so you don't see any band. Okay, so you've applied some spray, and then smooth that with your hands, and then taking the large,
Oh, the medium.
okay,
Smooth it up.
and just,
Smooth it out also while you're doing it.
that's important. See how you're just taking that hair and smoothing it onto the curling iron.
And pull it out while it's warm.
Perfect.
So what it does is it gives lift as well as texture.
And by taking it out while it's warm and then letting that hair fall, you're not getting too tight a curl. Okay, great. And what's going to happen in here? What again are you going to be doing with this area?
What I'm going to do is start my crisscrossing in the front
Right.
and piecing it down in the front area, and it also goes very well with the styles I've started.
Okay, perfect. Well, we'll be back again and we'll be virtually at the finished look. We'll see that then. Thanks. Well, Riviera, you finished the look. Just tell us what that final step was that you did through the top sections here, how you've got that weaved over.
What I did was, with my X's that I put in, I just took it piece by piece, over-crossing each other, and then basically sprayed it, used an iron to keep it so uniform down so it stays together.
Okay, it's beautiful. I mean, you can really see now how those separate areas that we saw in the very beginning, those three sections, have paid off and given us a very, very different look. I love that cleanness and crispness that you got with the curling iron. Just to remember how we did that, you took the iron out and then while the hair was warm, ran your fingers through it. So it just stretched it a little bit, so it's not overly curly, but it gives it a very, very specific and beautiful shape. Okay, great. Well, it's just fabulous. The highlights look really great as well. Thank you. So from the Galleria here in Florida, I want to thank all of the participants and the models for a really outstanding morning. Good luck.